Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and welcome to Endless Legend 2.
Hooray!
I think we're formatting this as an episode of 4X School, where Amabel learns about 4X games, due to her being a tabletop war game publisher who does not have a lot of familiarity with sort of video games that are in adjacent spaces. But also, this is just like our first look at Endless Legend 2. The embargo is down, and let's figure this thing out. So we don't have any previous experience to speak of, really, and we're just gonna learn the thing here. So let's start a new game. I know that the this build of the game has 5 factions in it. So obviously, I have a ton of experience with Endless Legend 1. You have somewhat less.
Yeah.
And one of the primary things that I know about this game, one of the big things about it is that it does not take place on the same planet. It is not a sort of like direct in-space sequel. This takes place on a different world called Sayadha, and even so, there's some familiar faces here among the choosable factions, and I'm sure we will come to learn how that might be possible. So let's see here. Just going left to right here. First of all, we have the Aspects, diplomats. Their origins lost to the distant past, the Aspects are a symbiotic species, part machine, part coral, with physically distinct individuals who find blissful union in the chorus, a mind gestalt where all Aspect can psychically come together. Sort of the opposite of physically, actually. Obsessed with preserving the balance on Sayadha through empathy and understanding, the Aspects' peaceful existence has been upended by a devastating dieback of their life-enhancing coral fields. Will Sayadha ever see the illuminated realm again? So they can use their influence to impose advantageous treaties, potentially controlling the outcome of war or the profits of trade. And this game also has those lovely multi-stage tooltips. It is becoming a standard.
Good.
The coral network is grown from coral spores, resulting coral tiles hasten movement and dust collection, improve diplomacy, and make cities faster to build. So we want to sort of expand out a reef for us to live on. And other peoples are integrated into the Aspects chorus at no cost. This special version of assimilation lets them easily take advantage of others' abilities and military units. And you can see over here the actual mechanics of all of their various rules. I don't know that we want to read through all of this stuff necessarily. We'll read the sort of flavor versions. We'll pick somebody and we'll just get to playing, yeah? So
that makes sense to me.
The Kin of Sheridan are an offshoot of the United Empire, which is one of the factions from Endless Space. The Kin arrived on Sayadha decades ago, but dreams of conquest and glory were quickly dashed against the rocks of this unforgiving ocean world. With their original inspirational leader lost to the wilds, the mantle of leadership has fallen upon General Shaparenko, who dreams that the Kin will one day do more than merely survive. For the Kin, their capital is a citadel. The higher their total fortifications, the more holy commandments they unlock, and the more chosen they can build. Interesting. Special Empire actions. Resurrected. Okay. Interesting stuff. Holy Commandments unlock abilities that can be used within range of their cities or chosen, including Divine Service, Blessed Earth, Replenish Faith. I don't know if it's helpful to name a bunch of things without us knowing what they are. Maybe it's just to sort of give you an idea of the flavor. And the Chosen are powerful giant constructs that are the backbone of the Kin's military and extend the range of their holy commandments. The Last Lords sure look familiar, don't they?
They do look familiar.
Escaping Auriga before it became an icy tomb, the Last Lords set a destination across the stars for Sayadha, a world believed to be endless sun-scorching deserts laden with dust. Upon arrival, Sayadha's brutal oceans were a rude awakening for the knights, who still clung to the tatters of their chivalrous code. Most are only engrams awaiting their great suits of armor, but Consul Tybana hopes not just for reanimation, but renaissance. So the Broken Lords, the Last Lords, are not. They're basically like animated suits of armor, given life by dust. So they do not require food. They do not have a biological body at all. Instead, their population consumes and is created by dust. Their units don't heal normally, but can be healed instantly by paying dust. Once a minor faction is assimilated, the lords can upgrade their villages by building a lord's estate, allowing you to enlist minor faction populations in your cities. That's interesting. And primordials, the most ancient of the Last Lords, are a powerful population that boost the influence and dust production of Last Lord inhabitants. Building the soul repository creates them. That's interesting. The Tahuks are an ancient life form evolved from giant desert scavenging lizards. Over time, Tahuk society came to be defined by devotion to the sages, godlike figures of infinite wisdom who once walked among them. Though these divinities disappeared long ago, the Tahuks hope for their return. They dedicate themselves to the strange mix of faith and technology that their religious hierarchy, the Assembly, promises will restore the sages to Sayada. The Holy Oculum allows the Tahuk to funnel research into powerful actions, like some names: Stars Light, Eternal Sunshine. I mean, I thought that was a pretty okay movie. Built on mountains, observatories grant wide visibility and provide food during monsoons and science during other times. They can be upgraded to sacred flames and libraries. Feels like keeping all your books all the way up there. I guess it keeps them away from the ocean waters. Seems inconvenient, though. Also, books are heavy. Have you ever tried to carry a bunch of books up a mountain?
No, I've carried a bunch up stairs, and that's bad enough.
That's basically the same thing. Just like imagine that a bunch of times in a row. Religious festivals allow the Tahuk to convert some of their population to fanatics, known as called. The exact effect of these called changes with each festival, and they can be sent out to spread their message to other empires' cities. Huh. It's interesting to have the religion-focused faction and the science-focused faction be the same one. Because I feel like in a lot of games, those two are sort of set against each other.
Right.
Despite the fact that, like, historically, obviously, the many great revolutions in science were more or less driven by religion. You think about, like, the Abbasid Caliphate and stuff. And finally, the Necrophages. Oh, aren't we so glad they are also here? Confined to the depths ages past, the Syadan swarm have only just emerged to the surface to establish a beachhead on one of the world's windswept islands. Bitter fighting with the bronze plates has occupied their recent attentions, but they aim to make up for lost time under the command of their prime, one who stalks afar. Always hostile, always ravenous, the Necrophage are a powerful, menacing presence. What a nightmare. So there was just a swarm of them on this planet, incidentally. Imagine being the Broken Lords and fleeing Auriga as everything there slowly dies, all the way across the stars, just to land in another place where there's already necrophages. The Necrophage have only one city, the Den of their Queen. This city can grow larger than that of other factions, and units can travel quickly between it and other territories by building burrows. The Necrophage consume to grow. I mean, it's right there in the name, right? They generate a corpse whenever they defeat an enemy in battle that can be used to specialize their units, which they can do anywhere. They also generate larvae when they win battles. And every war for the Necrophage is justified. They suffer fewer penalties for prolonged war than the other factions. That's an odd way to word it, but you know what they mean.
Yeah.
So
what are you leaning towards here?
Out of curiosity, the Necrophage, they're limited diplomacy, no interest in peace. Okay, so it seems like, yeah, they still have the thing from the first game where they can never be any better than at war with other players. I'd like to have access to some level of diplomacy. I don't know. I kind of think my feeling is like Tahuks or aspects. I kind of prefer those like internal strategies. Like, let's play with the internal systems. I'm sure we'll have to fight enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Does either one of these appeal?
Aspects and last lords, so I'd say aspects.
Okay, yeah, let's pick up the aspects.
Overlap.
So we're diplomats. Diplomats made of coral and metal and excellent headgear. All right, 3 other players. Difficulty Explorer. You know what? Let's leave it on Explorer for the moment. I'm sure we'll have difficulties enough learning the systems and whatnot.
Yeah, because there are, I take it there are changes that we're going to find out compared to.
Yeah. Yes, I reckon there are going to be some differences between this game and the first game, yes. Given that they are 2 completely different games.
Sure, but there is a degree in which things are iterative.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're pretty. Cussing.
Mineral, sky and sea, the bound and the unbound. This harmony murmurs through the air, ripples through the oceans. It is the song of Sayada that we alone can hear. A symphony shared by every being, living or unliving, growing richer until it is ruined by one false note, one crashing dissonance. From discord, only disorder, conflict, and destruction will follow. We must deny this cacophony, sway the strangers of this world, and impose a greater harmony.
The use of the word impose there is a little worrying. Subjects of the illuminated realm, join me. The dieback is behind us, the aspects are recovering, and the vast oceans of Sayadha beckon to us. We shall seed the coral once more, building an empire to soothe the agonies of Sayadha. The harmonies of our chaos will drown out the cacophony of chaos. All right, so at the beginning here, we're going to find that we're pretty hemmed in by the water. This is one of the big core elements of Endless Legend 2, is that the ocean world of Sayadha has seasonal tides. At the beginning of the game, the tides are very high and most of the land is inaccessible, and over the course of the game, the water recedes.
Oh, that's neat.
I agree with you. I think that's a neat way to approach it. So what have we been started with here? Take time to explore. Choose the best location to found your first city. That city will receive a prepared settlement bonus for each turn that it wasn't founded. So basically, they're trying to offset the natural effect of 4X games that it's just like, because everything is a self-reinforcing resource loop. It is so you lose so much power by not settling and getting your city going right away. They're trying to offset that a little bit. I have no idea mathematically how well that's going to work. We shall see. So here is our envoy. This is a swarm unit. Curious and courteous envoys are nevertheless equipped with ample combat abilities. And you can see we have all kinds of stats and abilities here. Vision range to 3. I'm a defense expert. But this is a scout. This is a scouting unit. So let's just have a look around. Looking for a place where the resources are high to put down our first city. Over here we can see some kind of curiosity. What's going on with this tile? There's something glowing on it. We'll search for battle spoils next turn. And then we have our starting army here. 2 units. One of them is our starting hero, Polemophon the Steadfast. And then we also have just another guy with a bow. So, a couple of ranged units to start with. Let's explore this way, because I see another glowing thing. Okay. We found a curiosity of the insights type, which has given us 20 science. Can I turn on... Let's see here. That's the reminders button. I'm just seeing if there's a button for always displaying the grid. Ah, here we go. Hopefully that's not annoying to you, but
No, I mean you know me. I prefer a grid.
So we can see the resource output of every tile here. So far, nothing really special is jumping out. These are all just kind of, 2 resources of whatever type. I think we're gonna move our scout over to here to grab this. Found 20 more science out here in the woods. Oh, this is interesting. Some blaze grapes. A Syadan delicacy. The flesh of these gargantuan grapes is succulent and nourishing. 5 food and 5 stability. Hold shift to lock the tooltip. Yeah, I can't even get a mouse over on that because it's a basic resource and they figure I will know what it means. So I want to keep exploring down this way too, but there is a curiosity to grab, so I think we're going to split this group up here if I can figure out how to do it. The UI is a little bit different than it used to be. Okay, there we go. So you're going to head this way to grab that curiosity. You are going to continue down looking for trouble. And we've discovered a minor faction village and more of those grapes. So here we have some Aucklings. The bane of careless travelers, tribes of aggressive, dust-loving Aucklings can be found on every isle of Sayadha, but their evil reputation masks a sad truth. In reality, they are but pitiful addicts. So, obviously, it costs a lot of movement to get into a river. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you actually can't cross river tiles with a normal army without building, like, a bridge.
Okay, that's
a dam.
Neat.
But we do not have the ability to build dams yet. Okay, so we will create a little ford here, I guess. Alright, 5 influence and 2 more movement for this army. Showing us a lot of very basic tiles. I was kind of hoping to find something analogous to like an Endless Legend 1 style curiosity.
Yeah.
It's looking like this may be the most that we find in that regard, and I do, of course, want to get settled. Maybe we just settle next to the grapes. Okay, we got a couple more curiosities over here. Our archer can come down and scoop all of these. So how do I start? All right, found your capital in this territory. Consumes the rest of your movement points. Yeah, that makes sense. It probably should. Yeah, let's just go ahead and put down. So this location... Oh, it is true. If we settle over here in this forest, we get a ton of production, but I want all this starting food. We can expand over and grab production. The population is very important in pretty much every 4X I've ever played, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have created our initial city here. I think we put down... There's a lot of coral icons there. Maybe we spread out some coral over our initial spaces. We can see the output of our city. We have a single point of population, which is currently assigned as a scribe. So scribes influence your science, or scribes increase your science and influence yields. That's interesting. It's no longer a matter of assigning people to a particular resource. You now assign them to a job, and the jobs produce different bundles of resources. Okay, well, I would like to be a food-focused job personally here. So 4 turns until we produce another aspect. So this population type produces 1 extra influence per population type that is in the same category. So this is a very sort of like Endless Legend or Endless Space take on population points where your different groups have mechanical identity. Okay. I'm very curious to see how this system builds out. Select an improvement to building your city. Right now, We have the sanctity of nature. Respect and understanding of the natural world enables it to give more to the community. So this will give us, this is just kind of like a general resource building. Advance in the technology tree to unlock new improvements. Okay, we can also spend influence to create a foundation. Left click on the highlighted foundation or resource deposit to see. Oh, okay. So we need foundations to build districts on. So it seems like physically expanding out into the terrain around us is a multi-step process here. In any case, I think just like building the building that makes you a little better at everything is probably a reasonable place to start. By spending dust, your Aspect's army can create a coral spore in a territory, provided you don't already own a coral spore camp or city within that territory. Once built, a coral spore will start expanding coral over time. Keep in mind, the coral spores are vulnerable to enemy armies who might attempt to destroy them. If you wish to claim a territory, note that building a coral spore is always a precursor to the creation of a camp, so be sure to place your coral spores wisely. Okay, so we've constructed our sort of like our cheap bridge here. Just move across it. I was aiming to go this way. And we can see here there's some tiles that are a little bit richer in resources. We have another one of those bushes. I think if we're talking about building a coral spore to start thinking about colonizing a new area, somewhere over here in this forest by the grapes seems like it might be a reasonable way to do that. Reasonable spot. And here's our text screen. So we started with the technology's Voice of the Masses, which adds a scribe slot to our capital and unlocks unlocks a district, an influence district that we can build. And also fencing, which unlocks the farm district type and adds a citizen and artisan slot to the capital. This is period 1, the years of survival. Okay, and I think by just entering this era, we have unlocked... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. By entering this era, we have unlocked these things, like our basic military unit, the ability to buy out constructions and stuff. And then we have 2 technologies. If we get 6 more, we'll unlock era 2. So it is very, very similar to Endless Legend 1 in terms of the construction of the tech tree. No direct prerequisites, just get a certain number of techs to move up.
I mean, that's one of the things I liked most about the way it worked in Endless Legend 1, so it's nice to see it carry over here.
So Asceticism unlocks a Protectorate slot and gives extra defense to defending units. Civil Order lets us build a Traveler's Shrine, which gives a bunch of approval to a city. Here we go. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for early on, is the districts and buildings that improve our industry and food output. And since we already started with access to farms, it might be a good idea to pick up the workshop, especially since we did settle in a kind of a low industry area. So this will give us the ability to remove forest tiles and the ability to construct a works, which, yeah, produces industry. We had a bunch of science banked from those ruins. So actually, we had enough science to instantly finish that. We can unlock a district that produces extra dust. We can unlock the ability to build dams and to build a district that is a permanent bridge. That's kind of cool. The science district. This is probably also pretty important. So enough science to finish approximately half of that. And then hopefully there's some more science in these other curiosities around here. We might be able to rush through that one as well. So Amabel, hey, you got any early thoughts here?
Not just yet. I mean, I'm just absorbing the information. A lot of things I'm seeing are very familiar. There's some things that are a little new. The presentation, as always, with what I've seen from the Amplitude games you've shown me, is just really a remarkably beautiful game, and it's very clear, I feel like. And it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to do both those things.
Yeah, I do love that this still has a little bit of the vibe of the first game where it sort of looked like really nice war game terrain. There's something about this that has that like miniatures feel to it to me.
Okay.
Not sure if I can quite put it into words. So we discovered titanium. We've also discovered a couple of villages here. Ametrine. The ossified remains of the Ametrine still exist on the seabed, speaking to an age when these creatures of mineral and rock stalked the ancient deserts alone. Sayada has seen so much in the intervening eras, but the Ametrine still wish to renew the bonds to the ancestors. So, do I have the ability to parlay with people? Where's my tech tree? How do I open my technology window? Right here. In the first game, you had to research the ability to parlay with new creatures. It looks like maybe not here. Maybe that's a thing we just know. I guess let's walk over there and try to find out, shall we? Oh, we have discovered. Oh, I don't like that. That's a Necrophage player.
Oh. Pretty cute, though.
Kind of. Okay, we do have the ability to parlay. Oh, look, they had a little text bubble. Winds guide you, traveler. So we could, of course, attack them, but let's have a chat. The inquiry. May we speak for a moment, Aspects? I would be glad to have the wisdom and objectivity of an outsider. I'm even ready to pay for it. What is your concern? Perhaps we can assist. One of us, an outcast, claims they can see the future by reading the clouds. When they're right, their following grows. When they're wrong, they explain it away. Now my Ametrine demand to replace me, so I can no longer judge the Cloud Reader's claims. But a stranger has no bias. Could you put this matter to rest? If you could show how much the Aspects care for studying natural philosophy, then no one among us could doubt your ability to lead this inquiry. Doing so would even align with our interests. Telling the future from the skies. A fascinating idea. I'm sure you'll learn that the cloud reading is false, and I'll thank you for it. Okay, so objective and rewards have at least 4 districts with a laboratory to save 25% on the hydromatic laboratory research cost from the next era, and also pacify all the Ametrine villages in this area. Sure. I would love to build science buildings. That sounds like a great idea. So I'm a little worried about those necrophages, obviously, starting next to a faction that can only eat corpses. It's definitely a worrying thing.
I mean, most things eat corpses or things that will soon be corpses after being eaten.
That's a pretty serious distinction. Things that will soon be corpses.
I mean, most humans eat corpses.
I mean, sort of. Listen, a human doesn't have to kill and eat their neighbors to survive. You're talking about a different thing.
Different kind of corpse. Okay, sure.
So the grapes here are nice, and I saw this like dense bush tile that had a lot of food on it, but the other tiles around this area actually are not super good. This is a single point of resources each. I don't know. I think I'm still going to go ahead and put down the coral spore here. Right here, right where I'm standing. Nope. Left click? Left click. Okay. And then we'll, grab whatever stuff is in that abandoned site and stuff afterward. Oh, what a good time for our neighbor to start doing loud lawn work. I hope that does not come through on the microphone. So this is a 3-unit army. Plays with Fire is their hero, so they're in a position to come over here and harass us for sure. This is a proper army. Let's hope they don't. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna try to move away as quickly as possible, though. Just to be on the safe side. He doesn't seem to be following us. Good news.
Cowardice, the SB way.
It is not cowardice to flee the necrophages. Alright, a coral spore has been completed. Oh, I like that the event log you can read back into previous turns. That's a nice change.
Oh, that's neat, yeah.
Okay, so we've created our first coral spore. This is going to grow slowly and incoralize the entire area over time. I might want to start moving our hero back toward the city for its defense, but also look at all this loot that's just out here. People just leave stuff all over the ground. A quest requires my attention. The illuminated realm of the aspects is at its lowest ebb for centuries, devastated and desperate. Several months ago, the web of coral that stretched across the island and into the seas beyond experienced a dieback the likes of which had never been witnessed. Reefs withered and blackened. Only a pitiful handful of coral shelves remained. The chorus, the shared mind where all aspects come together in thought, atrophied as well. Good news, Piero! Against all odds, we survive! Reefborn has been built anew. This is the voice of Krytalon, the practitioner, our advisor. It is a shadow of itself, and our once mighty chorus is but a discordant whisper. Oh, we lost many in the dieback, that is true, but a handful of us persist, and we will rebuild the chorus as well. Were we complacent, my friend? We called it the Illuminated Realm, a land of plenty and bliss, but we were blind to the coming ruin. Good questions, of course, but they can wait. And remember, you have barely donned the robes of office. Power laid in others' hands, so stop feeling guilty. Thank you, Krytalon. You are right. I look back in pity, not ahead in hope. I forget the balance, the harmony. What do you recommend with your experience? Everything begins with the coral. We must grow new fields immediately, and find new varieties immune to the blight. We are not yet saved. Of course, it is the first step to a greater chorus and a greater harmony. Let us move. Okay, so we just got to build some more coral spores to get an improvement in the approval of our city. People love it when you build reefs, you know?
Yeah.
It's their favorite thing. We are currently producing 3 dust per turn, and the build coral action is expensive, and it looks like it gets more expensive each time you use it. So we'll have to be a little bit careful about this, but we also might be able to find more dust in little insights, curiosities along the way here. Ooh, look at that. Giant orchids. 5 food, 4 dust. That is a valuable tile. We're definitely going to come down here. This is getting coral spored. Oh, and it's right next to some kind of church. Look at this guy. The Unseeing Seers. Ancient blind mages who learned to wield powerful dust magic in deep caverns long ago. Sayada's floods decimated the Unseeing Seers and saw them retreat to higher ground and divination. I feel like we're currently in the middle of proving that one kind of diviner is a fraud, a total sham, so I don't know for sure that we're going to be welcomed over here. All right, a little bit of extra science. If I'm honest, I would have preferred some extra dust here. And our warrior, our archer, does not really see anything of value except coastline. And I mean, it's good to know where the edges are. But see, yeah, you can see like some tiles are very shallow indeed.
Okay.
So we can tell that this is not far from becoming surface. All right, we have completed our research into scientific charter, which it turns out is going to be very important in the very near future. Honestly, picking up the merchant's house technology is probably a reasonable thing to pursue next. We do need money, quite a bit of money income, if we're going to be able to keep laying down these coral deposits. And it looks like in addition to giving us the ability to build merchants' houses, as soon as we finish this tech, we get 8 dust on the capital, 8 dust per turn. That would certainly help. Gosh, it is taking a while to build things. We're getting close to producing more population, though, and that'll help. Although, obviously, first I will have the ball focus on producing even more population. Uh-oh. Let's have a chat. They have a neutral army out here already, and I'm a little worried about getting attacked. Take care, Plerogyra. Are we pronouncing this Plerogyra?
Sure.
Good contribution. You bring an ill wind, bound to break against our high keep. Another piece falls into place, the grand mechanism that brings the world to ruin. We mean you no harm. Why do we worry about harm when the end of all things is coming? Know, aspects, that the dying of days creeps ever closer. We feel its shadow, the keening dark. When? How? You foretell an apocalypse, yet stay cloistered in this tower. My scholastics and I foretell all, so I thank you, Plerogyra the Innumerable, for offering to aid us in the lands beyond. For the reward, I have predicted what you wish for in return. I cannot divulge our methods to you, but a sampling of delicate confections would allow us to advance at tremendous speed, bring a sufficient quantity to the High Keep. What? Okay. We'll endeavor to do as you ask, Master Hadronim. Your success is ensured, Plerogyra the Innumerable. Supply us well so we may see the end. Okay, they want us to destroy this Solace rabble. Was that what you got from that conversation?
I got that they wanted, like, candy.
I thought they wanted us to bake them things.
Yeah.
Is this that army? No, this is an army of theirs. Yeah, okay. The Solace rabble. Now, where's my quest log?
The quest journal's the third one there.
You're right. It says that right on it. And I just looked right past it. Okay. An army that is off in the distance. To some degree. Alright, well, I have a little bit of movement left, and I'm gonna, I guess, just walk past you. We're cool, right? There's no reason for you to attack me. Okay, 40 dust. That's pretty good. So we probably want to lay down coral before we continue moving our hero, now that we have the dust necessary to do so. And I think these guys can head back toward the capital and hopefully do some reasonable defense work over there. So I feel like we have our basic resource districts all researched at this point. We could go after scavenging, which will give us bonus health and damage on our non-hero units and extra gains from battle spoils. Stonework, allowing us to get some fortification on the capital very quickly. Civil order, which gives us plus approval on the capital. You know what we should do? Let me look at the capital here. How does the approval mechanic work in this game? Where is our approval listed? Here we go. Approval provides city production bonuses when it is high and penalties when it is low. Population growth and overexpansion will decrease your approval. You can increase it by moving population around in the vocations or building districts and improvements. So right now, we're at 52%, and that's normal and fine. If we go above 60%, we'll see a change to the next state. So, that being the case, why don't we research civil order? Because it looks like this gives an immediate approval boost. Gosh, we are low on science output. Every subsequent tech is more expensive, right? And We've been doing
Yeah.
most of our science work through just finding science on the ground. It's going to take us a really long time to research that the old-fashioned way. Oh, I can do this right now. I don't have to have movement left. I would love to set some coral there. Oh, sorry. Is there a button for execute the order I gave you? I'm sure there is. Ah, yes. Complete pending army actions. Oh yeah, here's a special tile here too. Some Syatin boars drinking from a little stream. They are very adorable, actually. A proud sight, these thunderous beasts like to wallow in shallow ponds. Look at the wallowing! Alright, well that's very good. This here is our Solace Grabble. So... pikes. 44 to 53 damage when they attack. They have Incapacitating Strike, which slows enemies, and they have some critical damage chance. Okay. 20 armor, 240 health, and then the lesser ones are 160 health. So, like, how does that compare to, say, my military unit? Pretty similar range of damage. Obviously, they're a lot tougher than we are because we're an archer and they're a melee fighter. What about my hero? How does my hero fare stat-wise against that? Our hero actually only has 150 HP. He's really still pretty fragile. We definitely need to group up with a couple of real units before we can take those guys down. And unfortunately, it's going to take us a while to get there. But let's start running our existing military unit forward here. All right, coral spore constructed. Sadly, that only counts as one because we built the other coral spore the turn before we got the quest. That's fine. We'll just build another. What is the next one costs like 200? Yeesh. Like I said, it's fine. Alright, just get these... try to group these guys up so that we can have a chance of fighting. We can see here the Matriarch's Hall, where the Necrophages are based. It does not seem to be a huge landmass. And boy, they are right in our backyard. They're so close to us, I'm not sure it's even fair to call it a backyard. They're like at the side door to our house. Okay, you decided to be a scribe. I really don't need you to be a scribe. What I need is more population.
No more reading. Get back to breeding.
All right, well, I guess that's a way to put that.
You rule with an iron fist.
Okay, we found 4 glass steel and 15... What is that? 15 of some kind of thing that I have no idea what it is. So the glass steel that we picked up there is a strategic resource. These are to be used for, like, creating weapons and fancy buildings and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I suppose I should. I mean, I guess we'll find out. But something I remember from the first game is having you could fire off packs of resources for boosts.
Luxury resources. You're right. It could be a luxury resource. Let's see. How does that kind of stuff work in this game? Also, I guess we should look at this. What does victory look like? So, of course, there are the awakening victories. Discover the story of Sayada's awakening and open other paths to victory. So, diversity, acclaim, enlightenment. These are all different things. Huh. There is the score victory, of course, if the game should run out of time, and the conquest victory if you eliminate an empire by keeping them without cities for 10 turns. You eliminate everybody, and obviously you win as the only remaining player. The Sayada Awakening Paths have not unlocked yet, so we don't get to know too much about that. And the story so far unlocks after meeting a key character. Well, isn't that coy? What I'm looking for right now is a sort of a general Empire tab. I was looking for something that's analogous to a screen that existed in the first game.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here we are. So we can see our overall Empire approval. We can see what kinds of population we have. There are population scale bonuses. So as we get more and more points of a population, that population improves. This is again another sort of vibe from Endless Space. All of our traits here, our faction units and districts, empire bonuses. Keep in mind, by the way, this is, of course, an early access build, and there's going to be some things that are not entirely finished.
Gotcha.
I do not see a luxury resource thing on this screen, which is not to say that there... I mean, this might not even be where that would be. Here are all the notables you have found so far. Huh. Notable people in our society, I guess? Xenophon the host, Anaximens of nowhere. No companion assigned. You can pair this notable with a hero. Huh. Okay, hold on. Let me go look at our hero display. We cannot appoint, revoke, or move counselors for now. There's some kind of council set up here, which is mechanics that we'll get to, I'm sure. Things that will unlock over time. But let me look a little closer at our hero.
Yeah, there's a hero screen button. Okay, well, there's that too.
Yeah, I was going to do it this way.
Okay.
So, we can see here, our hero has no known enemies yet. There's room for a nemesis who has wronged your hero and whose defeat offers special bonuses. Space to make a friend and have a companion. Oh, I like this kind of like mechanical narrative building work. Like, I don't know exactly how you acquire a nemesis, but I imagine if your hero like loses in battle to an army led by an enemy hero, right, they might become your nemesis, and then you have not just fighting for survival, but also like specific character narrative beats to pursue. I like that very much. We have our equipment, and of course we haven't found anything cool to equip yet. We have, of course, a skill tree. No surprises here. Okay. Yeah, interesting stuff. I do want to get in a fight, but we got to get into a fight we can win.
Yeah, do you need to start building some units?
Yes, I want to start building some units, but obviously I want to finish construction of this thing.
Okay.
The buyout cost is currently 125 dust, which we cannot afford, but we are actually producing a fair amount of dust now that we've done some appropriate researches. So I'm hoping to be able to do some buyouts and stuff. It's just that our dust is a little stretched because we also have to use it to set up the coral spores.
Yeah.
So we're pulled in a couple of different directions here. There's a little bit of tension, and I am doing my level best to navigate that. This is part of the reason I'm being so aggressive about searching for free resources laying on the ground.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
'Cause boy, could we use a little bit of a push. First blood found. A weapon. It's some kind of rare bow. Well, I guess let's have a look at our equipment here. So our current bow is just 32 damage. It gives us the skill ranged 3, can attack within a 3-tile range, and the ability Scoped Shot, which allows me to ignore the defense of a targeted unit and deal bonus damage based on my stats. This has a hell of a lot more base damage. Ranged 5, Scoped Shot 2, Steady Blow 2, plus this seems like a huge upgrade. Right? Even just going from 32 to 55 damage without any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Steady Blow adds critical chance with a bonus critical chance per veterancy level. Yeah, being able to shoot 5 tiles is also huge. Alright, and this guy's just running down to reunite with our hero and form a real army. If the Necrophages were to attack us right now, if they were to be aware that we are sort of undefended at home, I shudder to think what might happen. We're just going to hope that they won't notice. Because that's where we're living at strategy-wise here. Just kind of hope. Uh-oh. Prime, one who stalks afar, sent you a message. Did you think we would not notice? The swarm always watches its borders, and you have crossed them. No, that's true. I did do that. Acknowledge. I did it, and I stole 8 glass steel from you. And now I'm going to leave. They have a little minor faction village over here, too. A village of Xavius. One of Sayada's strangest offspring, the Xavius are mischievous sprites who ape the appearance of larger races by communing together in suits of patchwork armor. Oh, yeah, you can see they're like little blue... Man, I love this game. I love these games and like the races they think of and the art and so much about like the vibe of the world.
It's so good. And
Yeah.
It's so much richer and weirder than anything else I've seen in the space. And boy, I've been looking forward to this for such a long time.
Yeah, me too. All right, next turn we're going to be able to buy this out. A little bit more work will get done, and we'll bring in a little bit more dust, and we can buy this out, and then we'll have extra stats of all kinds, including a whole lot of extra dust coming in, and we can use that to start pushing some of the other stuff that we need to build, including resupplying on dust so that we can finally get our other coral polyp built. Okay, so with that finished, 2 turns until the next point of population. Let's build a thing. So we have foundations here. We don't know any more improvements. We want to build districts. If we were to try to build military units right now, it would take us 18 turns to produce an archer. We have 10 industry output. So as much as we are supposed to build science, I think it probably behooves us to build some industry first on our way there.
Yeah.
So we can build communal habitations, which give us a bonus population slot on our population vocations. Notice things level up when surrounded by 4 districts. Also, still Endless Legend 1 tech there. +2 food, plus an additional food if the tile you build it on is producing food. Plus an additional food for adjacent rivers, lakes, and communal habitations. Works want to be they want to be on tiles producing industry naturally and adjacent to ridges. Ridge being... Okay, just like, a ridge. This wants to be just on a tile producing dust. You get bonus science output for building your science thing on a tile that is producing at least 2 types of yields or is next to an anomaly. Interesting. Okay, so if we're gonna build a works, we should build it here because this tile is already producing industry, which will cause this to produce extra industry. If you really fight type and just build a works in the middle of nowhere, it only produces 2 industry per turn, and that's pretty crummy. Honestly, though, this is still like pretty weak. It's going to be a 30% increase in our overall industry. But another thing is, once we have a reasonable amount of population, we can start flowing people into being artisans, and the artisans are producing industry.
Right.
I'm taking it the slow way because it will, in the long run, earn us more resources.
It does make it awkward early on, though.
Yeah.
And if you had
Adorable.
built your if you built your city at a place to give you kind of some general resources instead of the place like 2 tiles over that was going to give you a lot of industry. If you'd done that, then you wouldn't have the population coming in. And
Not so quickly, yeah.
You know, it's all trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm not.
I'm going to try to get our actual military force kind of back in the direction of home. And our scout can keep scouting southward, although my feeling is there's probably not too much more southward to scout. It's just a guess. Hi. What's your deal? The buzz of necrodrones in the air promises lightning-fast strikes. Okay. They don't look quite as scary as they were in the first game, I think.
I think they look kind of cute.
Oh, look at this. Like the patterns in the mountains. Okay, I guess this is... When they say ridge, they mean mountain. I was thinking they meant like a break in elevation like that. But ridge means a whole mountain tile.
Okay.
Good to know, I suppose. Okay, buyout on this is going to be expensive. Oh, okay, here's a display of luxury resources. So that stuff we found was hydromiel. Ah, it's a booster, and it costs 10 to fire it like it would in Endless Legend 1, and the effect it has is plus 20 dust output on your city. Hell yes, I would like that. These sticky combs are filled with a temptingly delicious rich substance, but the dust particles inside are worth more than a snack. So this will increase... Using this will increase the world stock, which will lower the price. Presumably there's a big market somewhere to attach to. I'm just firing the booster because now we're producing 43 dust per turn. Oh, our coral is spreading. Hi, what the hell do you think you're doing? So we can't quite catch up with them this turn, but I am going to get hostile with those guys.
Okay.
With any other force, I'd be like, hey, maybe we can play nice, maybe diplomacy or whatever. But with the necrophages, being able to kill a single one of their units is, you know, there's no diplomatic status to damage, right?
Right.
Ooh. Storm clouds on the horizon. All right, so we're going to very quickly and aggressively jump these dudes. They ran away. Cowards. But you can see not all of them made it. All right, can I... What's this? We cannot quite buy out this works yet. We have 3 population. I'm going to keep them focused. Produce more bodies. And then from here, the bodies are going into the artisans. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, automate agrarian. I mean, at this point, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it, I think. So it was 172 to build the next coral spore. It might be worth it to like coral spore this region just to try to claim this and prevent them from sweeping across. It looks like they've expanded kind of up and to the right already. I would like it very much if they did not cut us off from most of the landmass. Alright, where did those guys go? Unfortunately, because that's an army that's made up of a single flying unit, they're going to be very hard to catch up with in all this jungle. You know, their move speed probably isn't affected at all. We moved in, and we have found something. Is there something here? We found some ocklings nearby, Plerogyra the Innumerable, sleeping off a skinful of grog by the looks of it. Think they might have been celebrating fleecing this site before us. Well, let's wake them up, eh? Bring the most sober one to me. Bleeding. Oh, my head's killing me. Who are you, then? I am the leader of the Aspects. Let's just say you and your friend's fates lie in my hands. Now, what's your name, Aukling? Can he not read the UI? Pico. I'm called Pico. Where's the dust, Pico? Dust? Come. Auklings love nothing more than dust. Everyone knows that. You stripped this place, didn't you? Found some juicy dust, and that's why you were celebrating? What?
Some juicy dust.
Okay, juicy dust is a kind of a... Yeah, all right. I knew it. Thing is, Pico, that dust didn't belong to you. Oh, and it belongs to you? Okay, let's strike a deal. We'll give you half if you let us go. So, half the pickings, none of the fuss. We could capture them and gain a point of population. I don't know if I love that. Or chase them off and we find 10 dust water and 100 of the dust. I do wish that this mouse over would tell us what dust water does. This is enough for us to fire a booster for sure. But I don't know. I don't know if the dust water is more valuable than 300 more dust, you know? I guess there's one way to find out. We're going to pick this one because I want to know. Clear out, Aukling, now, and count yourselves lucky you're not in for a worse fate. Mark my words, you won't see us again. Plerogyra, the innumerable? Drive them off, then scour their camp. I expect we'll find something. So we found some dust water, which gives plus 20% dust on the city for 15 turns. Okay, I mean, I'm going to use it, obviously. It took us from 45 to 56, so 15 turns of that is not anywhere near the 300 extra dust we would have gotten by taking the thing up front. But at least now we know what that resource does.
Yeah.
For the future. Also, that means that we can lay down a coral spore very easily here. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy out this works tile and get started on the next district from here. So we don't have any ridges nearby. This is the closest ridge. So it's going to be hard for us to build high value works. We have a quest to construct science buildings. We can build more foundations at a cost of influence. So that's interesting. Is spending influence to expand tile by tile really gives you a different relationship with that resource in the early game? Yeah, that's interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have a great place to put down science stuff here either, right? Like the science buildings want to be built adjacent to anomalies and on tiles producing at least 2 different yields. So we have a little bit of that stuff going on over here, but for the most part, these are going to be pretty soft yields. And over here, we'd have to, construct new foundations and whatnot. One thing we can do is we could build a communal habitation here, and that would at least slightly empower the districts that we build next to it.
Okay.
And it does give us an extra slot on our vocations, so we could have another person producing food and push population even harder. It seems like life's just going to be tough, though, at the beginning, honestly. Yeah, I think let's go ahead and do that. We're producing a lot of dust per turn, so we're going to be doing a lot of buying out. I'm not going to try to pursue those necro drones any further. Oh, but they are just going to run right over to us. Well.
Okay.
So they can't run this time. Retreating costs health. At least. As attacker, the attack will be canceled. Retreating as a defender costs health, which is why they're low on health. So this battlefield has multiple tiles that cost movement points to traverse. There's anomalies or points of interest. One side has more experience than the other, so unit veterancy would make a big difference. Those are interesting sort of generated things. Yeah, I think we can probably instant resolve this. It's interesting. On the instant resolve, it even shows you like exactly how much damage your different units will take. But like we can see what the battle system looks like here. It's not worth it to fight a single necrophage, I think.
Okay.
All right. All units of an army have been killed. The winners celebrate. We took home 37 dust and also some experience points for our units. Unfortunately, that did eat all of our movement. It's fine. We finished Civil Order. So we have now the Traveler's Shrine and Spirited Inhabitants, which, if I'm not mistaken... right, but we've continued to have births as well, so we're still under 60%. Well, it's still good that we have it. We'll need it eventually. But yeah, that's not totally ideal. All right, like I said, I think I want to try to put down coral in this region, prevent them from settling it. So we're going to head over there. We only need 2 more technologies to enter the Years of Toil. So unlocking a Protectorate slot gives us, I believe this is how assimilating minor factions works. They become, they enter your Protectorate.
But assimilation also works a little different for us in some way.
That's a great question. Okay, so yeah, you have no active Protectorate agreements with minor factions, but we can establish that we have 1 slot available by default, and then we have to research to be able to have more. And I would love to make some friends with some minor faction units. We're totally trying. I would love to complete one of these quests. So I think at this point, I'm not really sure what to do with our scouting unit. It feels like we've kind of seen the edges of the land that we're able to see for now. They're doing something over here. Well, they're running units out in a suspicious way. So if we were trying to settle here, where would we want to do it? We'd want to do it near the adorable boars, right?
Right.
There's giant orchids here. There's adorable boars there. This is the hot spot. But I am a little worried about stepping out too far away from the town and just getting completely rushed. What would it cost me to buy a military unit? 450, okay. I mean, that's a lot of dust. It's not out of our range. That could happen. It's not happening this turn, but it could happen. Where did those necrophages that we saw go? So we didn't really get get vision of how big the army was or anything. We just know that we saw movement. Okay, looks like they backed out. All right, I'm going to have this guy put down the coral next turn. We're just going to keep an eye. So we're allowed to attack them in our territory. We're allowed to attack them in neutral territory. We would have to do a formal declaration of war before we could attack them in their territory, which is what this tooltip is telling us. And also, we would for sure lose that battle.
Yeah.
Hugely, hugely. All right, go back home, play defense for a minute. Can I put you in guard stance? One of us is still slightly injured from the battle, so, the time to heal is good. Uh-oh, that's a formal declaration of war. We are now at war. We thank you in advance for your dead. Let me talk to you about diplomacy. It's time for war. Your war score will grow with your accomplishments, such as battles won and cities captured. It will help you to obtain what you want when ending the war. To know more about how to end a war, you can mouse over each of the 3 options. So, a surrender demand. This option is only possible if your war score is higher than the other empires. The greater the difference, the higher the tribute they'll have to pay. Signing this treaty will cease hostilities with no tribute involved. Also make it impossible for either side to declare war for several turns. And this option is only possible if your war score is lower. The greater the difference, the higher tribute you will have to pay. So I feel like a lot of modern 4Xs, a lot of 4Xs in the last like 5 to 10 years are really struggling with like, how do we make a war not an all or nothing proposition? How do we make a lost war not a lost game?
Right.
I'm curious to see exactly how this game tackles it. I'm also terrified of the necrophages. That's just years of having played Endless Legend talking right there. All right, so I've bought myself a new archer, fancy new archer. He's going to join up. So what we see from them is a handful of these feeders. They don't seem super terrifying by themselves, and it doesn't look like they're bringing their hero to battle, but I don't know if that's like trustworthy, right? He could be in a second army. He could be second line. We saw that hero. I do not like that hero. I think at this point we can probably turn off the resource yields. And we are how many turns away from stonework? 9 turns away at our current research rate. That's not ideal because we're going to get a lot of extra fortification for our city. I mean, we have 400 already. Yeah, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Amabel, I am worried. I'm going to step back a little bit.
I think you got this, though.
They're besieging my city. As long as the besieging army has not breached the fortifications, it cannot launch an assault. Next 1x in 3 turns? I do not know what this means. So if we attack them right now, it reads as a balanced battle.
And this is where your superior tactical skill will win out.
I wish we had any melee units at all. The fact that we're all archers is going to make this a little... Like, it's very good, obviously, to have ranged units. But also, it is dangerous to have ranged units with nobody to keep the enemy's melee off of them. They ran away. It's rare, but today the swarm decides to be prudent. Okay.
We hate being prudent.
I won
prudency.
I won that battle, so surrender to me. You are dominating them. Influence is a limited commodity, and we have learned that we will need it to expand our city. And it is worth noting that, from their perspective, they did have to pay influence to declare war. So they have harmed their growth to some degree in exchange for this war. And if they don't get something out of it, that's just bad news. But I'm a little unsure whether I want to press this button and burn 50 influence. They probably won't surrender, right? Nothing's really changed from when they declared, except that now they know where my army is. Maybe they didn't think we had an army. I mean, I'd just been chasing around their necro drone, though.
Yeah.
You want a white piece?
Let's try white piece.
They refused. You have to wait for the next turn before being able to send a new proposal. Okay, so notice
Tear this up.
We didn't actually lose influence. I think it must be the case that you only pay the price if the offer is accepted. Wait.
What?
It said he proposed to end the war. I think that was an error. They refused my demands. Yeah, I think that was
I like that they let us know that he's mean.
Listen, not all necrophages are mean. This one is. I appreciate that they don't seem to have like a massively overwhelming force. So because they retreated, they are injured now. You see, they're healing quite quickly, as necrophages do. But they are a little bit damaged. I'm gonna push them again. They didn't want to fight before. Now they have backup. If we took the instant resolution, it would kill us. So I think we should probably manual battle. We still might die.
Well,
but let's see.
That'll be an interesting.
Let's see what we can do here. So the battle takes place over the terrain that is nearby here. We have very limited movement. So we have one skill. Ignores the defense of the target unit, deals a bunch of damage. And we have a very impressive attack range, we must remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can't quite hit them even if I do move forward. And I'll take a step up. You guys can also kind of step forward. We're staying in the trees. Harmonious Tactics. When a friendly unit defends, adds plus 10% damage to all other units of the same army until the end of the battle round. Interesting. And then we just defend. Yeah, we're good. I don't have anything else to do. So they're going to approach, and we're going to pick at them as they approach, and hopefully get some good kills. Okay, so what is the definition of forest cover? How good is forest cover? So he's in defensive stance. It looks like applies hunted to target units. Okay, so when one of them attacks us, it lowers our defense. It looks like the okay, forest cover is 5 points of defense. So these things natively have 0 defense.
Okay.
We really do not do a lot of damage to him in his forest cover. Scoped shot is pretty good, though. And these things have 3 movements, so if we stay in range to shoot them, we are also staying in range to be attacked by them. Unfortunately, we cannot do this the cheap way. The second wave of them won't be up close. Like I think we can kill this first one.
Okay.
Nope. Didn't quite get there. It's got so little HP left. That's really annoying. All right, and unfortunately, I can't spread my damage out here. So, okay, broken focus. What is the damage penalty? Because I saw broken focus on that previous attack as well. So we're gonna get
Minus 30%.
25 to 30. I can't make this preview stay in place to be able to mouse over it. It looks like, which is a real shame. But okay, you can do a lot of damage to that guy. There we go. Loses 30% damage. I'm assuming this is because I'm a ranged unit and I have a target adjacent to me, but it certainly wasn't the case when this unit attacked here before. All right, well, in any case, we're able to clean them up, but now we have the rest of the foes upon us. Their hunger is unceasing, Amabel. Did you know?
I kind of picked that up.
Okay, units being damaged causes them to lose damage output, which is not a thing that is always the case in games like this, and I do appreciate that.
I do
too. The sort of like the all or nothingness of hit point representations is a little frustrating sometimes. Okay, scope shot is a once per battle thing. I had not realized that. So we have spilled one of them now. We're definitely going to lose a unit on this next turn, but I don't think they're going to get another one after that. I think our hero's damage alone should be sufficient.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how the auto resolver thought that was going to end with so many deaths, but all right, we leveled up. We got 146 dust, which we will use to buy another archer. And let's talk about this hero level up. So we have a skill tree. It has a bunch of stuff in it. I'll say this. I'm really glad we found that bow. I think that extra damage made a huge difference in that battle.
Absolutely, yeah.
We were like just barely killing things and turning those fights, turning the heroes' damage from 2 hits to 1 hit necessary to kill. Yeah, it's a huge. So we have 1 hero point here. We can pick up recovery shot. When using this active skill on friendly unit, we can heal people by shooting them with our bow.
Okay.
Guiding Light adds 5 damage to non-hero ranged units in the army and 1 extra damage per point of intuition, of which we currently have 1. When gathering a curiosity, adds movement points to all the units in the army. That's neat, but probably not good for us right now. Fast Learner gives you more experience in battle, which of course is a classic. Deflecting Stance adds defense to all the units of the army and more defense per points of resilience on the hero. When gaining experience, give more to the non-hero units. And the Nature of the Beast adds max health and extra max health per points of resilience. I mean, if I'm honest, I do want to kind of just focus on damage. What do these stats do aside from... Do they have an effect aside from how they influence your skills? It doesn't look like it. Or at least we're not being told that it does here. Yeah, I kind of like Guiding Light, honestly. So 2 points 2 points spent will allow us to reach out into the next tier. Again, you're seeing a lot of iteration here on systems that were developed in Endless Legend 1 and Endless Space. At this point, having killed 5 of his units and having lost merely 1 of our own, I wonder if he might actually be willing to back the hell down.
You're all bones.
I'm going for the big one. Hey, buddy, this war's going fucking terribly for you. They refuse. All right. Surrender demanded. Asks you to surrender to them. I think that might be rigged up wrong. So it's 450 dust to just pull another archer. Or we could wait a very long time. I doubt I can threaten a city with this many units, but I guess we can try. And these guys are sitting down here. They're waiting for their turn to put down a coral spore. I'm not going to spend just yet because we might want to buy the archer. I guess we don't really know how that stuff works in this game. Oh, nope. Here's his hero. Okay, so this is where it gets ugly. This is a lot of combat strength. I mean, that guy only has 185 HP. But he does have 3 additional units as backup, and they are absolutely going to kill us by just swarming us, right?
Yeah.
We can probably kill the hero. I do not think we can kill the rest of them. If we retreat, your army moves 2 tiles away. Each unit loses 50% of its maximum health, so that will kill our little guy. That puts us in a real bad shape. Why do you have to have so many units already? Stupid necrophages. I guess we're retreating, right? I guess we gotta.
I guess.
I don't know. If I could kill plays with fire, would it be worth losing our hero as well to blunt their attack like that?
I mean, you know me. I just want to see another fight. So I mean, it's really your call here how you want to approach this.
I'm going for the manual battle.
Yeah. Do you feel like if you had a more production focused approach in the early game, rather than population focused, you would be in a better position militarily here, or?
It's a great question. I feel like I'm going to back up and then I'm going to shoot at this guy. My plan is to take advantage of the fact that our hero has 5 range for as long as possible.
Right.
So 1, 2, 3. Right, I can back up 2 spaces and still be able to hit their hero. And if I go for the scoped shot, it's going to do 60. And if I do a non-scoped shot, it's going to do a lot less. I mean, I may as well start with the big one. And then you are not going to move into his range willingly. I don't run away as fast as he approaches, unfortunately. But I can play this game for a little while. And remember, our most important thing is killing. Okay, I had a little OBS crash there. That's fun. Anyway, as I was saying, the most important thing we're doing here is killing this guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to blunt their long-term offense. So I have fed my smaller archer to him now. And he has moved up on our hero so that we can't step away without taking an opportunity attack, because he is unfortunately mildly intelligent. What a jerk. I have in fact dropped him, but it's, we're gonna get overwhelmed now. Yeah, there's not really anywhere to run that would do anything, so... But we broke their hero, and I'm hoping that's enough to discourage them from continued pursuit. Now, as far as our hero goes... Where's our hero button? Here it is, the hero circle. All right. Heroes wounded. You can wait for them to get better or pay to instantly restore them. This is going to take a little bit of dust, but we will have it. Unfortunately, that battle happened in their army is in their territory because we were right on the border. So they're healing at maximum rate. You are definitely not going anywhere. You know what? Don't do anything until I tell you. We'll come back. I'll tell you when it's time. Amabel, are we about to lose our game? He's backing up.
That could be.
Oh my god, he has 5 more units. How? Well, okay, so I'm not gonna rush the hero yet then. I'm gonna wait for them to approach. Because every turn the hero heals, that cost is going to go down some, and we may be able to rush the hero and rush a partially completed archer. Uh-oh.
Rain clouds darken the sky's aspects, while rifts scar the lands. The balance between life and death is at stake.
I do believe, yeah, it's monsoon season. Okay, so what does that mean from a mechanical standpoint? New dangers and rewards will appear during the monsoon. Note that temporary bridges may be destroyed. Minor factions become enraged and will attack anyone nearby. Brambles thrust from the ground, impeding movement, while horrifying creatures rise from rifts and fortresses. Empire economies are impacted, and special time-limited curiosities offer rewards of dust for brave armies. On the first turn of the monsoon, empires may reorganize their council. At the end of the monsoon, Sayata experiences tidefall. Periodic occasions where Sayata's seas go out and never return. Where's the water going? Probably a question that will be answered eventually. So, a council seat's been unlocked. Let's go look at our council, shall we? Wait, did that not? Okay, council. There's a button for it right here. You can freely appoint, revoke, and move councilors between seats. The council will be locked at the end of your current turn. Select a seat to appoint a councilor from your empire's notables or your heroes. So, Polemophon the Steadfast is a little wounded in battle. We have here this guy, a Vault Dweller, who would increase our capacity for strategic goods. And here, Anaximans of Nowhere, plus 15 science per camp, plus 2 vision range on districts. Oh, that's actually rather nice. Second monsoon opens the next seat, and the third monsoon opens the one after that. Okay, and now that our console's locked, we can reassign them early with dust if we don't want to wait for the next monsoon. So that's happened. And Amabel, you know, I think maybe this is a good time to call it for the episode. I know I let this one kind of grow, but important stuff was happening. So our enemies are at the gates, like so much John Schaefer. They have our blood on their mandibles, but this change in weather might be exactly the thing we need to eke out survival until we can sort of reassemble ourselves. I don't know. Come back next time, I suppose, to find out if that is indeed the case, or if we just get eaten in 2 turns and start a new game. And we'll see you then.